everyone. My name is Andreas Diaz. Me and Will are back again for a Marvel Plus talk. Of course, 2022. We here. Hello, Will. How you doing?
Good. Yeah. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I can't believe it. We're in 2022, and I just felt we were already in 2021, but no longer for that. But yeah, so this week's podcast is pretty much us reflecting on 2021 and, especially with Marvel and their movies and their Disney Plus shows. So that's pretty much the main topic today. So last year we had five shows: WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Loki, What If, Hawkeye, and then for the movies we had four, of course, Black Widow, Shang-Chi, Eternals, Spider-Man No Way Home. If we also have five movies if you want to count Venom 2, unfortunately. But whatever, we're not going to discuss Venom 2. But so technically we have five more movies this year, but whatever. Um, but so we have that. And Will, do you want to know what we have coming up for this year? Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So this year, I think, to clarify, we don't know what's going to be our next weekly TV discussions because they haven't yet dated these new shows.
Mhm.
Um, the only one I know that's kind of like officially dated is the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. So that's coming up in December of 2022. So, but our next shows that we're going to have this year is Moon Knight, She-Hulk, Secret Invasion, and Miss Marvel. So, and I'm just seeing this because they have all the first release as 2022.
Mhm.
So that's four shows coming out for this year. And then the movies, obviously, we have Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, Thor, Love and Thunder, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. So we only have three films. Well, I mean, four if you want to count Morbius, but we're not going to do that.
No.
I think I have a bad feeling. I'm going to see that soon. Uh, so you're going to probably expect another podcast with me talking about the movie and how dreadful, or I don't know what is going to happen. So I'm not excited for that. That's in the nearest future. And actually, later in this month, it's coming in 2 weeks, I think, for Morbius. Oh dear. So, and that's our 2022 list. Uh, so, Will, the ones I mentioned, which one from a Disney Plus show and a movie you're most excited for this year?
Oh man. Um, I think it's either Doctor Strange or Thor.
Mm,
Um,
that's
yeah. I don't know. I'm worried about a lot of the projects that are coming out this year.
oh really? I
Yeah.
mm,
But um, I mean, I'm worried about Doctor Strange too. I get it's probably Thor.
okay. Um, for the show,
Mhm.
I'm excited for Miss Marvel, and and then the movie I think I'm most excited is I think Black Panther. I'm
Okay.
Wakanda Forever. I'm curious about that film. Obviously, um, unfortunately, 2 years ago we lost uh, Chadwick Boseman. Um, and I'm just curious where we're gonna take the characters in Wakanda. We're also gonna introduce Ironheart, a the new character from Marvel that's gonna get her show in Disney Plus as well. Um,
Hmm.
so those are the two projects I'm like very excited for this year. I'm a little, I'm like also worried about Black Panther. Like if it's going to be successful and like, can we do it without, Black Panther, as a
Yeah, it's
character?
it's it's gonna be hard to do it without T'Challa.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I'm not sure how they're gonna handle that. I don't know. Like I know in the comics, Shuri has been a Black Panther before. Um, but I don't know. I know the actress that plays Shuri's like
And
had a little like controversy and she got injured on set during filming for this
twice.
movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe they don't want to
They've been
like
very, yeah, like not go to that path, right?
yeah.
It's weird. Like they haven't confirmed if Sherry is going to become Black Panther, or it makes sense realistically in this universe that uh was it Black Panther's love interest that we had in the first film?
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
she makes,
Nakia.
yeah, Nakia makes more sense as the next, you know, Black Panther because she was in a relationship with the character in the first film. I mean, like they renewed their relationship in that film, and we haven't seen her since then. I think it could make more sense.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. Um, uh, and piggyback to your films. Yeah, Doctor Strange. I'm excited for. I'm not too worried about it. I think the reshoots is just trying to maybe, I don't know, add more things after their success with Spider-Man No Way Home with the multiverse stuff. Uh, but my thing is just the expectations on like who's going to be in the film because people are expecting the X-Men, the older Fantastic Four actors from the Tim Story ones are going to be in
Yeah.
this film. Like, I
No,
just hope. Go ahead, Will.
I have no expectations for anything like that. But
So that's my concern for Doctor Strange. But
mhm.
and then Thor: Love and Thunder. I mean, I'm excited for it. I mean, I'm happy to see Taika Waititi to come back and
Mhm.
do the Thor film again after Thor Ragnarok in 2017. That was of course a successful and critically beloved Thor film finally. Um,
Mhm.
I mean, I'm excited because we're going to see the Guardians again. And, I mean,
Yeah.
like everyone is from that series is coming into that Thor, which is crazy. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, uh, yeah, and I guess to point out that this is going to be the year where we're going to have more like a like a like a between months for these films compared to this from last year in 2021. Like Doctor Strange is going to come out in May, and
Mhm.
then Thor is going to come out in July, and then we're going to have a couple months off, and then we come back to see Black Panther, the last MCU film, for um, November 11th, 2022.
Mhm.
So we're not going to have like in 2021 the consecutive months of MCU films. Like
Mhm.
we had Black Widow in July, and then Shang-Chi was in the September,
Mhm.
and if I have to include Venom, it was in October, and then November we had Eternals, and then December, of course, was Spider-Man No Way Home. So it was like like what 4 months of Marvel content movies.
Mhm.
Here is like we're going back to what was usually is like you know a couple months off and then got a new one. Like like Phase 3 was.
Mhm.
So, which is, did you like? Did you prefer that, or did you like last year's like release schedule, or what do you think?
I mean, it was cool to have something like basically every week,
Mm,
but it did feel a little like overwhelming at times,
yeah,
you know? So yeah, I think it'll be good to like slow it down a little bit. Although given the fact that we don't have release dates for the four TV shows means that they're not going to start for a little bit. And there's
yeah,
uh, 28 episodes of those and the Guardians special. So that's 29 episodes of TV. So that's
yeah,
29 weeks uh, um, on top of the four movies. So it's still going to be like most of the year we're getting Marvel content
yeah,
every week.
yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of curious. Like, are they gonna save those four shows for like in the summer? Like, I
I know Miss Marvel is scheduled to be like around the summer,
yes,
but they
I
haven't said anything about the other ones. Um,
yeah,
and I'm surprised because
yeah,
you'd think we'd be getting one of them like fairly soon. You'd think they'd spread them out across the year.
yeah. Yeah, because I they did they had the Disney Plus Day back in November, and
Hmm.
they showed the first footage. Like, I I mean I'm not complaining that we're gonna have not content in the channel for Marvel Plus. Like, we have other podcasts we have to do, like the movies. We have to
Hmm.
discuss, like, this year is a big anniversary for two major films. We have the Avengers. We have Andrew Garfield's Amazing Spider-Man this
Hmm.
year. That's hitting the 10th. Um, and then other phase of movies that we haven't discussed yet, like the other Spider-Man films. Yeah, all of that. But yeah, I'm curious, and I'm looking at the episodes. Like, so far, the one that has the longest episodes is She-Hulk. Has 10
Hmm.
episodes. I'm like I'm like kind of surprised about that. um, yeah, so I wonder like what of these shows going to be the first. Like, I'm curious about that. But
Yeah, I don't know.
yeah, it's, it's yeah that's because I'm trying to remember when we got the release date for One Division. I'm trying to remember because well, we moved.
It got moved back, right? Wasn't it supposed to?
It was supposed to come out in 2020, but unfortunately COVID happened, and so they had to stop filming, and they didn't get back. Like, it was supposed to come out. Oh, it was supposed to come out in November, I remember, and then they pushed it back in a month to December, and then it became official that okay, it's gonna come out in January because we need to finish up the other episodes. So
Hmm.
that's how I think I remember when we were starting to get the new Disney Plus shows. Um, yeah. So yeah. Yeah. Hopefully this month we get something like maybe an announcement of like the official dates, and then we'll discuss it a little bit and see what they offer. So
Hmm.
I'm kind of surprised Secret Invasion is ahead of the other Disney Plus shows that I thought. I thought Ironheart made more sense to be in this year than later. But I mean, since the release date schedule has been reshuffled a couple
Hmm.
times, this year they had to reshuffle. Like, before, like the Marvels was supposed to come out this year, but then it's pushed back for February of 2023,
Hmm.
and then I think yeah, that's it. That was like the only movie that was supposed to come out this year. This pushed back for next year. So, all right. Anything else to to mention for these 2022 content. I mean, besides the movies and TV shows mentioned.
There's that Halloween special that they're making.
Yes,
That's
yes,
supposed to come out in 2022, I think.
yeah. They didn't list it here. For some reason. I think it's in like early development. Like I know they cast some actors, right? I know the Rogue One actor was
Yeah. Um,
right.
Gail Garcia Bernal is in it.
Okay.
Is he in Rogue One? I don't think so.
I got. Hold on. Let me look at. No. That's his. No. He's a famous actor who worked with
Yeah.
the Rogue One actor from another movie. I'm sorry. Like
Okay.
I thought it was that actor from Rogue One. No. He's Monster in the Jungle, the Motorcycle Diaries, and
Yeah.
Coco. Great
Yeah.
film. And of course, he was from last year. Old. I know you've seen that film. Um,
No, I haven't. I think
okay.
I've only seen him in the Motorcycle Diaries.
Mm, he's a good actor. You have to see his other films.
Yeah. No, I really liked him in that. And I've seen like interviews with him. Like
mm,
I know he's really good.
yes.
I was excited that he was added to a Marvel project.
Yeah. I'm curious about this Halloween special. You think is it like a live action or animation? Like,
I think it's live action.
okay,
Um, yeah. Um, yeah, I think it'll be fun.
I mean, it did say it's gonna release in late 2022, so this will probably drop in Halloween,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
Well, I mean, it did say Halloween special, so what I'm saying,
Yeah, I would hope it would be around Halloween, but you never know.
yeah,
Like,
exactly. Um, yeah, I totally forgot about that because he got the holiday special for Guardians, and that's like, oh, so yeah, 4 shows and 2 specials. That's pretty awesome, I guess. Okay, so anything else? Thank you for mentioning that because I forgot that they made an announcement about that. Like it was like a long time ago, and I was like, oh,
mhm,
all right. And yeah, because a lot of people are thinking that Blade will pop up, right? Like
mhm.
some of the supernatural characters, like Ghost Rider and all that. Okay, so let's get into the main topic of reflecting on 2021. So, uh, you know, so 2020 was not a good year. We have COVID, obviously. So, and then, unfortunately, we didn't have any Marvel content besides, the Fox one, like New Mutants. I forgot that 2020 we had New Mutants came out
Yeah, finally.
finally.
Yeah,
For
I think I saw a trailer for that in 2017.
oh my god, I know it was like 3 years in
Yeah.
develop. Like it was like in the shelf for 3 years and then finally released in 2020 in the worst possible way. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh wow,
Uh,
oh oh dear, sad end for the X-Men film franchise, but whatever. Um, or I mean, like people was just didn't care, right?
mhm,
It's like, so pretty much the MCU were pretty much out of the picture in 2020. So we only had like just the indie comic films, or the you mentioned New Mutants, of course, the last Fox film to
mhm,
be released, and then you got the DC films, of course, Birds of Prey and Wonder Woman 1984 came out that year, and then with a bam, 2021 was a big year for Marvel. We got 4 new MCU films. This Canny Venom 2. We got 5 shows they released first time in a continuity in the MCU. We got One Division, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Loki, What If, because they kind of that, and Hawkeye. So, Will, just your overall opinion. Do you think that we start great in Phase Four? Was this a good phase? Do you enjoy all um the shows we got, and then the movies? Like, what was the positive thing about these Marvel properties, and what was the worst thing about the movies and shows of 2021? Go ahead.
Yeah, I enjoyed most of them. I've been pretty vocal about how much I didn't like What If.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
but WandaVision was just an incredible way to start it off. I think it's my favorite thing that Marvel has done. It's just so unique and different compared to everything else that they've made. And even if the ending was a little derivative, like the rest of it was so like creative and like fun and different that it's easily um, my favorite thing to come out of Marvel this year or last year. Um,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I think it's a pretty strong start to this next phase, whatever the overarching plot is going to be, because we introduced Kang in the multiverse, you know, just like setting the groundwork for those future plot lines. They're also definitely setting up Young Avengers, so
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
we've been seeing the seeds for that get planted throughout the year.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm
mhm.
surprised you haven't mentioned Thunderbolts. Do you
I
think?
was I was about to. I was
Okay.
yeah. I was just really wanted to praise Wyatt Russell as what's his name?
John Walker. That's his
Thank
name.
you. Yeah. Uh I that character was incredible in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And I'm excited to see what he and
Val.
Valentina are up to. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Mine is Elenia. I think
Mm,
Florence Pugh. Uh, I saw her in Midsummer and I thought she was great. She was the best thing about that film. A very bizarre film I saw in 2019. When I saw her in Black Widow, she was, oh my god, my favorite character. And just seeing her again in Hawkeye was even more special for me. And
mhm,
it made me enjoy more of Black Widow, the movie, and and address the things that I mentioned previously in the podcast before of the death of Natasha. And so
mhm.
I think she was like the MVP of this year as the new character that came out from a movie or a Disney Plus show, you know?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with John Walker. I love Wire Wessel. I think he's one of those new actors is just so good. I love him in 22 Jump Street. He's so funny in that film. And
Mm,
he's great in Black Mirror, uh, the episode called Plague Test. Uh, Fantastic episode for a Black Mirror episode. Highly recommend that.
mm,
Uh, but yeah, I love John Walker. I think, and I love his costume. It's so comic accurate,
mhm.
which is good. So okay, I enjoyed that. What uh, anything else? What else about 2021 that was very good? Um,
Um, Loki was great.
yes,
Um, yeah, just a really fun dynamic between Loki and uh, Mobius. I loved Sylvie. Thought she was interesting. Um, just everything with like TVA was
yes,
just a lot of fun. They did a really good job world building in that show, I thought.
oh my god, yeah,
And I'm just really excited for season two whenever that happens.
Yeah. Oh my god, I want season two. Uh, I love the production design of that show. One of the best for the MCU films
Yeah.
since Black Panther, I would say, because
Mm.
it's very up there. I mean, the shot when Loki sees outside of the TVA
Hmm.
was probably the most impressive, like very sci-fi
Yeah.
like setting, and like it made me love the show so much. And
Yeah.
oh my god, the production team did an awesome job. I just wish they got I just wish they got nominated from like an Emmy or something for production. I just feel like
Mm.
it was so rich, and like it that show was like the most cosmic that we ever had in the MCU films. I
Hmm.
feel like just my opinion, separate from Guardians and other MCU films that are cosmic related,
Hmm.
Okay. And
Um,
and the movies, for now, like what is your favorite MCU film? I'm kind of curious to get into that.
I mean, it's definitely between Spider-Man and Shang-Chi.
Okay. I would
Uh,
say my number one is Shang-Chi. So
okay.
yeah, because did you see Spider-Man second time or no? Not yet.
No, I haven't seen it a second time yet, which is why I don't feel like I can pick a favorite between the two
Okay.
because I've only seen Shang-Chi twice. But
Yeah. For me, I saw it three times. Two in the theater and one for the Disney Plus.
mhm.
It arrived in November, so that's why I was like very firm that it's number one for me for my favorite MCU film for this year. Last year. I'm sorry. Uh, so okay. Worst MCU film or Marvel film?
uh, oh, that's hard. Um, I there were things that I really didn't like about Black Widow, and then there were things that I really didn't like about Eternals.
You're lucky. My worst thing is Venom too. Oh,
Oh, yeah, I didn't see Venom too.
so you're lucky,
Um,
buddy. Oh my.
um, oh, man.
Yeah.
I I
Oh,
think I
sorry.
have to go with Black Widow.
Oh, really? Oh my God.
Yeah, I know. I'm surprised too. Um, but like I really liked the characters in Black Widow.
Mm,
Like I loved obviously I loved Natasha, I loved Elena, I loved their parents.
yes,
But
they're
everything
great.
else about that movie just felt off. It felt kind of weird. I didn't like the storyline, like the plot. Um,
Yeah.
it felt very like they were taking every like glimpse at Nat's backstory that had ever been given in like the 10 years that she'd been in those movies. Um, and then they like shoehorned it into one storyline, and it felt very fan servicey in a way that wasn't good, didn't sit right with me. Um,
Yeah, that makes
and
sense. Like,
yeah, so yeah, I think the like main cast of like actors and those characters, they were great, and like I love them and I want to see more of them, but everything else about the movie was just really disappointing. Um,
wow.
and I didn't feel that strongly about Eternals, so I think
No,
Eternals barely
barely, barely,
barely edges ahead of it.
yeah. Okay. So yeah, there's a lot of flaws in Black Widow. My problem with that film is they they hinted on a twist that people like knew. Like, if you had to be a fan of this version of Black Widow and the MCU to get the twist that happens in the third act, which that was my like the whole third act is my main problem with that film. Like you had the first acts being like very Jason Bourne and like Daniel Craig, like his first outing as James Bond, like greedy and like
Yeah.
hard spy thriller, right?
Hmm.
And then you get this third act that it's like literally a Roger Moore Bond film, which I have no problem with that. But you have to be consistent with the tone and theme that's going on in the film, and it feels out of place. Like it feels like a lesser, like
Hmm.
um, like ending of a Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Like you had the floating things up the air again, but in that it was more emotional because it's Hydra and like it was a conspiracy and the twist worked there. Here it didn't work. I
Yeah, I agree. I was really disappointed when they had like promoted it as like, oh, it's like basically a Jason Bourne like thriller, you know. And then the third act was CGI explosions and stuff falling from the sky.
yeah again
It's it's okay for a superhero movie to have like smaller stakes and like a smaller scale climax. It's fine as long as you like get the tension between the characters correct. Then
yeah
you don't need the big CGI battle at the end.
yeah. Um, I'm kind of surprised that No Way Home nailed the ending and like the climax. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah. I mean that had a smaller battle than
yeah
Black Widow did because it like I there was like massive CGI battle, but it was like just at the Statue of Liberty, and like the conflicts were very like character focused and
and we're not dealing with like the common complaint with the MCU like the droneless army
hmm
like five villains that were people except with
yeah,
the
characters with motivations and stuff instead
yeah
of yeah.
yeah exactly. And then I want to rope three in Shang-Chi. Now, that third act has that problem, but the thing is, they were building up to it. That's another thing I want
Hmm.
to bring up. Is Shang-Chi built up the the moment when you get into Tylo, right?
Hmm.
Like it's been in discussion throughout the film. Like like it's the reason Wang Wu meets the mother. It's the reason why he went there because he thought it's gonna be like they had like very much like magical like things he wants to maybe explore, before he meets the mother, right? And
Hmm.
then we discover midway in the film because it's not in the trailers, which I was surprised. The reason he's gathering his family is because he thinks in Talo his wife is there, which is not because of the derailleur is tricking Wan Wu to get to Talo and break him, break free
Hmm.
of the cage. Like it's like it was building up to that, and like when we got to Talo, it was no surprise because it was in the narrative. So where compared to Black Widow, it just the whole like up of the sky thing just came out of nowhere. I mean, or the twist came out of nowhere. Like it just, and then you got internals. Um, is third act. I my problem with the turns that they jam pack so much in that film.
Yeah.
And like there was like plot lines that were underdeveloped or certain characters I wasn't like
Yeah.
you,
I
you know what I mean?
only cared about like four, no, five of the 10 Eternals
Yeah,
because they just didn't develop them at all.
yeah,
Because yeah, it's hard to introduce 10 characters and then
yeah,
tell a story uh in like a 2.5 hour movie.
yeah.
Um
Yeah.
yeah, and it just wasn't that fun, you know? Like
Mm,
it's a big blockbuster. It should be
yeah,
fun.
fun.
Yeah. I don't know. I put it on par with like Thor: The Dark World, but
Oh,
where Thor: The Dark World was like kind of a sloppy mess, but it had fun moments.
yeah,
Eternals was a little cleaner, but it wasn't as fun.
yeah.
So it's like, why are you watching it if it's like a blockbuster? And it's just kind of, you know.
Um, I'll probably just watch Eternals over Thor: Dark World. To be honest with you.
I think Eternals is like more competently made.
Yeah,
Um, but there are like fun moments in Thor: The Dark World that I think make it like feel more like the blockbuster that one of these movies should be.
I,
Um, but no, I think I don't know if you were like if you made me pick which one I wanted to watch. Oh man, maybe I would pick Eternals just because it's just like yeah, better made.
better made. I will say, I mean, Eternals is not like soulless or like a joke. Like there's jokes. I mean,
Yeah, it's just there.
I
And I don't just mean like jokes. I mean like I don't know.
the film
There's
also
like
had
character moments that aren't.
yeah,
I
Unearned.
don't know.
Like yeah, um, like the whole twist with Icarus
Icarus.
like was so predictable. Like my friend and fellow YouTuber Miss Flamingo has mentioned what was like after the movie after the movie we went to have like for lunch.
Hmm.
She mentioned it was very predictable and like like why couldn't we focus on Icarus than the villains the what was it deviants, right? Oh my
The
god.
Deviants.
Yeah, like that's the thing that I mentioned, jam pack of plot points, and it's like just have a focus. Just I don't need too many. Like
Hmm.
oh my god. Um, now we're in kind of criticisms. I also want to mention that um I didn't like this year, like in 2021 with Marvel. Like there was like a trend. They had like mysterious villain plot, like like
Hmm.
the behind the scene villain, and like
Hmm.
we knew who was going to be a villain, and I just didn't understand that. I think the big two that was a big problem was Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and then Hawkeye, right?
Hmm.
Because I mean, when they brought up Kingpin, it was like no, like it wasn't even no secret. Like especially it was at the same time when No Way Home was coming, and like many people thought Daredevil was coming in, so like it just
Yeah, and they showed Kingpin's hand in episode 3,
yes,
and like you could hear what was very clearly Vincent D'Onofrio's laugh, and then they, they still for 3 weeks were like, oh, I wonder like who's the big bad? We don't know.
and then it was Kingpin all along,
Yeah,
and
oh,
then
surprise.
yeah, no surprise. And then just have him have one appearance, and then supposedly kill him off, which is not gonna happen because he's
Yeah, I don't think he's dead, but
you know like it was wow, like such an overwhelming like return.
yeah, I wanted more from that.
Yeah, exactly. And then I mentioned, honestly, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, we've been, beaten to death, like how much the flag smashers weren't good. I didn't like because we didn't mention, you know, the flag smashers were not the only problem that people were talking about.
Hmm.
It
Hmm.
was the pirate broker. Like
Yeah.
that whole thing was so messy. Like
Yep.
I like I seen this in the CW shows, like when they were making mysterious plots, like no, like the showrunners and Arrow didn't know who was going to be in the Tombstone in season 4, and then they decided to just call off Black Canary, the Earth One loyal, and that made people so mad, and like just no like thought through a plot serious arc in a series, and it's like how are you making these shows? Like I just don't get that. And then here it's like, okay, just make the pirate broker be Sharon. Like, don't be shy. Like, she's like the most underdeveloped character in comics and movies. And like, why, like, like I don't know, was it like a gender thing? Like, there's female villains. It's like, I didn't understand what they were doing. It, it broke my mind sometimes. What we were doing. I don't know. What's your thoughts on that pirate broker twist? And
I
I just,
it felt like such a left turn from a character that
yeah,
like her motivation already wasn't developed very well, and then they just like completely changed what it seemed like they were going for with her
yeah,
for this show. Yeah, I don't know. A lot about Falcon and the Winter Soldier was kind of sloppy.
yeah,
Uh, yeah, I don't know. I think John Walker was like the saving grace for that show
yeah,
because that
um,
was just so well done.
yeah. And Simo. Let's not forget about Simo. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, like he was another one that I really enjoyed. I mean, we like Marvel actually did like an extended cut for something, and it wasn't. It was just a dance.
him dancing. Yeah,
Yeah, I love that. That was so funny. Got like an extended Simo dancing cut. Oh my god,
mm,
that was so great. Yeah, and then I will say Winter Soldier was the best thing. I loved that we got more development with that character,
hmm
and
yeah,
um I just this for me it was like too preachy. It like had way too many things to handle, and I feel like they shouldn't like what's the phrase, like smell the rose, and like just pick one that makes sense in your narrative and just go with that.
yeah. I could have done without um, the Flag Smashers, and then I think if it had been about like just Sam and Bucky um, just like seeing John Walker trying to be Captain America, and him just like slowly um, like losing his like credibility and like becoming more unhinged and violent and like
Yeah,
destroying the mantle of Captain America until like to the point where Sam and Bucky have to like confront him and stop him. I think that would have been more interesting,
yeah,
especially if it had been paired with Bucky continuing to like go down that list of names of people that he had hurt as the Winter Soldier, and like confront his past. And if Sam had spent more time like talking to Isaiah Bradley and like
yeah,
thinking about the implications of being of like what it would mean to be Captain America as a black man,
yeah,
I think that would have been more interesting. But instead, we got like a little bit of all of that, and also some other stuff that didn't quite work.
yeah. Um, I, I, because I want to mention like the most like popular weekly discussions, like the reviews in our channel, and it's kind of funny. The highest views, like they're middle reviews. Our podcast episode 3 and 2 are 9 views, and then towards the end of the series, like 4, 5, and 6 are 3 views. Like you can tell what was going on. Just like episode 2, like you thought you were gonna have like this very like Brotherhood of Mutants kind of villain team, but like it was
Mhm.
about like suppress the people, and like this group was trying to help out the suppressed that came back from from the blip, right?
Mhm.
Like episode two, like that was like the best thing about episode two, right? And then episode three, you got the returning characters, right? Of Simo, a villain that's iconic in Marvel Comics, and coming back after Civil War, and then Sharon Carter, and like you have the what was the country that we're in? The Sharon was in.
It's from X-Men comics.
Yeah, um,
Madripoor.
Matchport. Thank you. Like, and that was written by the John Wick writer, and like it felt like a John Wick film, but with superheroes. And that episode was just the most visually and action packed superhero like film ever, right? And
But
and
it
then
felt disconnected from everything else, though. Like,
that's where we're gonna get headed
yeah,
to. Like, and then after that, you have episode four, and you have the John Walker thing, him pressuring, like feeling the pressure of the Captain America mantle, and then you got the Flash Masters, and you're trying to make this villain to be sympathetic, and like you say it perfectly. Well, like it was getting off track, and it, I, it was like I feel like it was like total whiplash for that whole series for
yeah.
6 episodes. Just it, I, yeah. I mean, you mentioned before there were like apparently they had to rewrite certain things, right, because of COVID and like
There's been rumors.
yeah,
Yeah.
because you mentioned during that weekly discussion that apparently rumor it they had to rewrite certain things that was maybe inappropriate, or like it was
Well,
just
it was the rumor is that the Flag Smashers' original plan was going to be to um, release a virus
right, right.
to do something, and that was just a little too close to reality, so they rewrote it.
I mean, question, when it hits reality, do you think is it appropriate, like inappropriate? I'm sorry, like because I don't know, like we that's common thing throughout history. Like there's people that use viruses to kill people, right? Like in World War I with the gas thing, right? Like
That wasn't necessarily a virus.
oh, okay.
Like
Correct me,
I
please.
can't
Yes,
think of
I
any instance of someone like knowingly or like purposefully um, releasing a virus on a population, but it's definitely been like in fiction. It's been a thing for a while, um, but and I think they were probably thinking like we're in the middle of a pandemic. People don't want to hear, or people don't want to like watch something that's about a deadly virus being released.
okay. All right. Yeah, I was just thinking because I like PS4 Spider-Man had that, but like that was like 2 years before COVID ever happened.
Right? Yeah.
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 Anyway, okay. Maybe to get into the worst thing happened this year was What If?
Mm.
Oh
Yep.
boy. Oh god. Um, I it was a good animation show. It had good visuals, I would say.
Oh, I disagree.
Okay, well, I'll agree with you with that. There were some of those shows that were not good to look at.
I just didn't like the animation style. It looked cheap.
Yeah, that's true. It, yeah. Uh, um, but um, yeah. I mean, it was. I mean, um, yeah. Uh, yeah. I think we're just gonna do just a whole podcast of just What If season 2. That's it. We're not gonna do a weekly discussion of that.
Yeah, I
Um,
don't really want to watch season 2, so
yeah, exactly. So we'll
yeah.
just.
And I'm not interested in any of the animated shows that they're gonna make.
Is there like a group one coming?
It's not gonna be animated like that. It's just
Okay,
it's gonna be like live action, but not really because all of the characters are CGI.
okay. Then we got the Spider-Man one coming out, the freshman year, right?
Yeah, and like I don't know, maybe that one will be good, but
Maybe.
maybe not. And then they have the zombies one. It's a spin-off of What If.
Yeah, that one is weird. Like, why?
Definitely not interested in that.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, we'll see. Um, yeah, What If was okay. I think it was definitely. I mean, I guess I want to bring up Venom 2 and just say, well, I think Venom 2 was more durable than What If, actually, to be honest. Yeah, What If? It's kind of fascinating to see Strange Supreme coming into Doctor Strange in the multiverse.
yeah. Well, we don't know that it's Strange Supreme.
Yeah. Well, people are saying that, like, it,
Well, it's they see an evil Strange, and I
yeah,
think they're assuming that it's the same evil Strange that they saw in What If, but
no,
it
no,
it isn't necessarily.
no. I don't think people are saying that, but it's like people saying, oh, like, I mean, it's kind of like a spire from that episode we um of What If, right?
Well, I don't know. I it could
Maybe.
be. I mean, they use similar visuals for when the like universe was ending. I saw that like the inky, where everything was like disintegrating and it looked like ink in water.
Yeah,
Um, I saw that in the Doctor Strange trailer,
yeah.
but
Which day of release? I was kind of shocked right away.
mhm.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Yeah, um, but and the Christine Palmer thing, like we saw a wedding. I mean, it's different how they did it in the episode, but like it's curious. I'm intrigued if they ever aspire from that episode. When we see that film in May. Yeah,
I don't know.
so we'll see. Okay, and then what else did we discuss? Mention the movies. I guess. Were you surprised? Which movie performed well in the box office? Um,
Uh,
because
no. I mean,
yeah,
Spider-Man was definitely gonna be like the biggest movie.
hmm.
Um, and I'm really disappointed we'll never get to know how much it could have made outside of the pandemic.
Well, I I'm kind of shocked that this is the only film of 2021 that crossed the 1 billion mark. And
See, I'm not. It's the biggest movie, and people are still worried about like going outside and getting sick.
yeah, um,
Um, but like this movie was so big that people were like, ah, like it's worth it. Um,
um, oh, I mean, well,
but
I, I, it's,
and like the only other one that I think, or the only other movie that came out this year that I think could have crossed 1 billion would be Black Widow, but it came
yes,
out early, um, like earlier. So like vaccine rates were lower, movie theaters were still like just opening. So and they simultaneously released it on Disney Plus, so people could just
yeah,
watch it from
this,
home.
that's the thing I was going to say is because it had the hybrid release,
Yeah,
just like the other ones. I will say the hybrid release was, I don't think it was a good idea this year with HBO Mask or,
I HBO it seemed to work for them. It seems like they got a lot of HBO Max subscriptions.
Yeah, but it didn't work with other films. Like we had bombs, like In the Heights bomb. Um, I'm just the Matrix, the new one. It didn't do well at all.
hmm
Obviously you can theorize what happened. Yeah, of course, Spider-Man was the biggest film, and people wanted to see that over the other releases, whatever.
hmm
Um, but I feel like the hype release did hamper certain films. There was few exceptions for the hype release that was successful. Like Dune and Godzilla vs Kong did well with the hype release.
hmm
Like both actually crossed the 400 mark, which is good. But still, the big surprise, I was surprised. F9 and No Time to Die performed especially well. Like they crossed over 700 billion.
Yeah, those probably would have crossed 1 billion outside of the pandemic too.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense with Bond because he's like more of like a what's the word? Uh, Overseas grocer than a domestic grocer.
Yeah, I mean, like England, everyone's gonna go
Yeah.
see.
Yeah. And same thing with F9. Like the Fast and the Furious are like since F5 they became more of like an international
hmm
franchise, and so that's why they crossed to that point. So I was shocked about Spider-Man No Way Home's, like when I heard that the possibility of 1 billion mark, I was like, really? And not only it's Sony's highest like film in their catalog, it beat Far From Home and it beat Skyfall. And this is the second film since Joker that we have $1 billion mark without a China release date. That's the thing that's the biggest talking point for No Way Home. So, um, very, very shocked about. I'm very happy Spider-Man No Way Home is performing well, and like it shows that like theater attendance can still be successful. It's just some of these products will we're not going to attract larger numbers. I feel like that's what's going
hmm
to happen. And I feel like the big movie that's going to be big is the Batman. I think that will be the next film that maybe will cross the billion mark, maybe, right?
hmm
So, because that's the one people are so excited for. I mean, we have a new trailer that came out like a week ago, and I mean, I'm so excited to see that film, and I think that will be the next billion mark. And the other one could be Doctor Strange because he was in Spider-Man No Way Home, and that
Yeah, my theater reacted like very enthusiastically to the trailer at the end of
yeah,
No Way Home.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And especially with Wanda, that's another thing we have to mention. I think I want to mention like the ones for the Disney Plus shows that have the most impact of for the characters. I feel like was WandaVision. I think WandaVision really like propel Wanda into popularity, and
Yeah.
and I feel like she was like she was the character that got most of like a good boost of development, and that's the I'm so happy for because I really
hmm
like Wanda in the films, and I
Yeah.
think WandaVision did well. Um, when I saw her in the chair, I mentioned to my friend Chris, and I said, "Oh, look, it's Wanda," you know.
Mm.
And when I heard Westfield, New Jersey, I was like, "Oh yes!" Oh. So yeah, um, so that would be the next billion mark film whenever we see that film in May. So yeah, so
Mhm.
yeah. Oh my god, so excited for the Batman. I'm sorry, this is a Marvel channel, but just I need another Batman film. It's been so long since yeah, Dark Knight Rises in 2012. Um,
Mhm.
oh my god, it's 10 years for that this
Yeah.
year. Oh my god. I can't believe it. Anyway, anyway, um, overall, Will, 2021, good year for Marvel.
Yeah, I think so.
It's
There
a,
were some high highs and some low lows, but I think overall it was good.
yep, yeah, I agreed. It had, just a struggling, like finish the line for some things, but I think overall people were happy. I think everyone did talked about these things in the internet. Um, and I will say I think it was great to see some success um, to be propelled in the conversation. I was so happy to see this year superhero shows to get nominated in
Hmm.
those TV awards. Like I think One Division like really like did like the Joker like like awards, like they were nominated for 22 awards for the Emmys.
Hmm.
And then recently in the Golden Globes, um, Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany were nominated for I think the main series actors categories. So I was so happy about that because I really like Elizabeth Olsen as an actress, and I think it was really great to see just getting for her getting more attention and getting more recognition. And I think we're going to continue that in this year,
Hmm.
especially with the new Dave R. Kelly show from HBO, Love and Death, I think it's called. And then her appearance in Doctor Strange. I think a lot of people are excited to see her again as Wanda.
Hmm.
Uh, and uh, and it was cool to see diverse. I uh, didn't talk too much, but like diversity. Like it was cool to
Hmm.
see first time like an Asian lead in a film
Hmm.
with an Asian cast that was successful. I think Shang-Chi was like the most crowd pleasing film, and and it was the one that helped to say okay, the box office is still viable. Like it was still number one for 4 weeks in September. Because it didn't have competition. But whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and the Sony films like Venom and of course Spider-Man, like it helped the show as well, and they were huge box office success. I mean, Venom 2 recently crossed 500 million mark. So
Oh wow.
yeah, so again, Sony helped this year to really push the box office. Um, it was definitely high for 2020. I heard that the box office taking was high compared to 2020, but it was still low for 2019, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, 2019 it was like I think 9 films crossed a billion, and the 10th was like the second Germani film that crossed 800. So of course
Hmm.
you're not gonna beat 2019. So man, crazy time. So, Will, for our next discussion, where do you want to go? Do you want to discuss Agents of Shield again, or you want to do a movie
We
discussion?
can do more Agents of Shield.
Okay. We're
Yeah.
up to season 4.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So yeah. After that, I need to rewatch season. I need to finish up season 5. That's the season I just left off.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah. So okay. So we'll do Agents of Shield. Yeah. Agents of Shield season 4 next week. So that's cool. And that's your favorite season, right?
Right.
Mm, intriguing. All right. Well, thank you, Will, for joining me for today, and uh, start the New Year's for a new video for this channel.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, yeah. So, thank you everyone for listening to this podcast. Me and Will be back for next week for Agents of Shield season 4 discussion. I hope to see you guys there. Have a nice weekend and goodbye.